What's going on, y'all? Welcome to another episode of ENA We Got Time. As always, I'm your host, Alex, here with another weekly prediction video. Go ahead, if you haven't already, sub to the channel, like the video, you know what I'm saying, all that good stuff. Another week, we're going to go over some more games, getting real close to playoff times, as you can see, as always. Got my Giants gear on. If you're new, we do a free $25 giveaway. Under each video, comment your picks for the week so that way you can enter in. That's all you gotta do. Comment your picks under this video, subscribe to the channel, and give a total score for one of the games you pick so that way there's no ties. So that's all you gotta do. Pretty simple. First up, Thursday, we got Jags at Jets. Got a couple guys who are a little questionable, but they'll probably play for the Jags. We got Taylor, the offensive lineman, Brandon, the guard, Trevon Walker, but he'll play, and Trevor Lawrence with a toe. They just got a couple people. Mike White did not practice yesterday because of ribs. Quentin Williams with a calf, Corey Davis concussion, and Denzel Mims with a concussion. Right now, the Jags are really playing some really good football. Trevor Lawrence is really looking a lot better the latter part of this year. The Jags really turned this thing around. The Jets were looking really good with Mike White. Zach Wilson, he's doing okay. Even though it's going to be extremely cold, I got the Jags winning. They're just rolling right now, and I don't see the Jets stopping them. I got this game, Jags 24-17. And they're getting real close to taking that division, by the way. But next, we got my Giants at Vikings. Got a couple guys questionable. Shane Lemieux, offensive lineman for the Giants. Leonard Williams, the defensive end. Evan Neal, the offensive lineman. Kayvon Thibodeaux, questionable. I expect most of those guys to play. Maybe Shane Lemieux doesn't make it, but I expect the rest of those guys to play all, if not some, if not all of the game. The Vikings, they're pretty healthy. The center's questionable. Now linebacker Kendrickson is questionable with the hip. The Vikings just had the biggest the biggest comeback in NFL history for the regular season. The Giants were coming off a must-win game against the Commanders. I'm going to have to pick the Vikings on this one. I just think they're rolling. I don't think we'll be able to get it done. But I do have us fighting in this game, and I have this game being 27-20 Vikings, but we're still going to make the playoffs, so don't trip. And next up, we got Bills at Bears. Couple people out real quick. Jordan Phillips for the Bills, defensive tackle's questionable. Josh Allen, he's on the injury list, but that don't mean nothing with an elbow. And Mike Milano, the linebacker, he's questionable. And Jordan Poyer, the safety, he is. For the Bears, we got a couple guys. The cornerback, Vida, is questionable. Cody Whitehair, the center, he's questionable. St. Brown is questionable with a concussion. And Claypool's questionable with a concussion. Those guys are going to be much needed if they want to make this a close game. I know Justin Fields has really been picking his game up and really playing really well the latter part of this year. I think the Browns have a very bright future, but the Bills are trying to keep that number one seed in the AFC. So for that reason, I got the Bills winning 27-21. I do think the Bears do keep this close, but I think the Bills just end up winning. And next we got Saints at Browns. Marcus May, the safety for the Saints, is questionable. Chris Olave has a hamstring issue. Pete Warren has another guy for the Saints, linebacker. He has a hamstring issue. For the Browns, cornerback Ward was questionable. Njoku with a knee. Myles Garrett was he didn't practice the other day, but he was just ill. It wasn't an injury. I don't know what to say about this Saints team. It's a lot that's not going particularly right. Chris Olave is a huge bright side to this team, but they just got a lot of issues. Watson is still trying to get in the swing of things. I know they just beat the Ravens, but the Ravens without Lamar. So all that being said, I got the Browns winning this game 21-17. I don't expect this to be too exciting. No offense. Next, we got Texans at Titans. A couple guys on the injury report for the Texans. Laremy Tunsil, offensive lineman. Brandon Cooks, the wide receiver. Nicole Collins, wide receivers with a foot. And Chris Moore, wide receiver. For the Titans, offensive lineman Dylan, Jeffrey Simmons, the defensive lineman. Ryan Tannehill has that ankle issue everybody knows about, and Treylon Burks, who's really starting to live up to the draft pick. He's questionable with a concussion. The Texans have been playing everybody extremely well these past couple weeks. Kansas City, Dallas. The Titans, they just look like the wheels kind of falling off. But all that being said, I still got the Titans winning this game. I think they can string enough plays together to come out and win. And besides, the Texans, they want that number 1 pick. All right, we got Seahawks at Chiefs. For the Seahawks injury report, Noah Fant with a knee, DJ Dallas with a knee, Ryan Neal, the safety, he's just on the report, and Darrell Taylor, the defensive end. For the Chiefs, Clyde Edwards-Helaire may be returning to practice. I don't know if he'll be able to play with an ankle. Defensive end Mike, he's on there, and the defensive tackle Sanders is on there, and the tight end Forson is doubtful this week with an elbow. Seahawks were looking like, the Cinderella team to start the season. They kind of been doing like this after about week 6, week 7, but you could kind of say the same thing about the Giants. The Chiefs are still going to try and fight it out for that number 1 seed for the Bills, hoping they slip up at some point. But I got the Chiefs winning this game 27-20. I just really like them better, especially playing at home. So that's how I'm calling it. Next, we got Bengals at Patriots. So the Bengals injury report, some guys that were questionable. Mike Hilton, the corner. Hayden Hurst, calf. T. Higgins, hamstring. And Trey Hendrickson, wrist. As far as the Patriots, Damon Harris has a thigh issue. Jacoby Myers, concussion, he's questionable. A couple other things questionable. Devontae Parker, also questionable with a concussion. He was the guy his teammate had to pretty much stop the game for. The Bengals have been rolling, and like I said in previous weeks, with Lamar being out, they really can take hold of that division and win it. And if I'm not mistaken, they're leading that division right now, and they're going to continue winning that division right now. I got the Bengals winning 24-17. I think Bill Belichick and company keeps it close, but the Bengals are rolling, and I just think they come out with a victory. Next, we got Lions at Panthers. For the Lions on the injury report, it's pretty short. The center Brown's questionable, but he should play. Elliott, the safety, is questionable with the shoulder. For the Panthers, the cornerback Miles is questionable, and J.C. Horn, the other cornerback, is questionable. The Lions are making a legitimate playoff push. I know it was kind of funny a couple weeks ago, but I think they've won, 7 of the last 8 or 6 of the last 8. The offenses have been pretty high up there as far as scoring points throughout the entire year. The defense is giving up a lot of points, and they've been lackluster. But I think the Lions, I'm not saying they're making the playoffs, but they're making a push for it. I got the Lions winning this game 24-14. I don't really see what the Panthers are playing for as far as winning this game, except for pride, but that's how I'm calling it. Next, we got Falcons at Ravens. Falcons injury report. We got offensive tackle. I don't even want to mess up his name, so I'm not going to say it. Caleb Huntley is on IR, the running back with ACL. As far as the Ravens, Calais Campbell has a knee issue. Devin Duvernay is on IR with the foot. Lamar Jackson, he's still out with his knee issue, and J.K. is questionable with the knee. I did see they just re-signed Sammy after Green Bay let him walk. And the Falcons are trying to make the playoffs just as well as the Ravens. So I don't think the Falcons lay down. Now, I'm hearing that Lamar's still not going to come back for this game. So I think it's going to be a lot closer than people think. But me personally, I like the Ravens at home. I like that Ravens defense over the Falcons offense. I'm going Ravens 17, 14. That's how I'm calling this game. Next, we got Washington at the 49ers. A couple guys who on the injury report. Chase Young, he's still questionable. We don't know when he'll return. Antonio Gibson, he has a foot issue. As far as the 49ers, C-Mac, he's been on the injury report every week with a knee, but I just think, he's probably just resting. Kinlaw may return from IR, the defensive tackle with a knee injury. And defensive end Armstead is questionable. Right now, the 49ers are just steamrolling people. Their defense is impeccable. And Brock Purdy is doing just enough and then some to help that offense score the amount of points they need to keep this train rolling without Jimmy G. I really like everything about the 49ers playing this game at home. I don't think they take Washington lightly. Taylor Heinicke is in for a long day. 49ers 31-17. That's how I'm calling it. Next, we got Eagles at Cowboys. For the Eagles, Zach Pascal, the wide receiver, is questionable with concussion. And as we all know about Jalen Hurts and his shoulder injury, I don't think he'll play. I think that's pretty smart. As far as the Cowboys, D-Law is questionable, defensive end. Curse, the safety, is questionable. Noah Brown is questionable with the foot. Jake Ferguson is questionable with concussion. And Michael Parsons was sick a couple days this week, so he sat out of practice. This is going to be like, I don't know, the Cowboys are going to play this game super hard. And I think the Eagles, I don't want to say the Eagles take it off. I think Gardner Minshew, he's a very, very good backup. And the Eagles definitely have enough weapons to make this a fight. But I think the Cowboys are just, they're really going to try extremely hard in this game. I got the Cowboys winning this game 27-17, only because Jalen Hurts isn't there. Next, we got Raiders at Steelers. For the Raiders, the safety Harmon, he's questionable. As far as the Steelers go, Deontay Johnson's questionable with toe. Najee Harris has a hip injury. He's questionable. And Terrell Evans, the safety, he's questionable. The Raiders were looking like they were going to make a playoff push, and then they lost to Baker Mayfield and the LA Rams on Thursday. So I think they're out. I'm not exactly too sure, but I'm pretty sure they're out. And the Steelers, you still want to see what you got in Kenny Pickett. I know this season isn't going exactly how people thought, or maybe so. I don't know. But you still got to go out there and Mike Tomlin's going to make sure they go out there and play. But I just think the Raiders are just going to be better than them. So I'm taking the Raiders 23-20 in a very, very close ball game, like a walk-off field goal. Next, we got Packers at Dolphins. For the Packers, only person I saw on the injury report was Bakhtiari, and he's questionable. Hopefully he'll come back. I want to say he missed the last game. For the Dolphins, River, the wide receiver, was questionable. Rowe, the safety, and Jeff Wilson is questionable. I really, really like the Dolphins at home after losing that really close game to the Bills last week. The Packers, they're coming off a nice win. I know their confidence is up, but the Dolphins, they're playing to stay, not secure this week because I don't think it's possible, but keep that playoff spot. And I think they continue it this week. Like I said, they just lost a heartbreaker to the Bills, so I'm definitely taking the Dolphins in this game. 28-20. It's going to be somewhat close, but I think the Dolphins kind of keep the lead most of the game. Next, we got Broncos at Rams. Cortland Sutton's questionable, and Russ is questionable. As far as the Rams go, Skonecki, the wide receiver, is out with a calf strain, and Brian Allen, the center, is out. That's really, really going to hurt Baker Mayfield. It's only his third week, and having a new center out there is really not it's not what you want for your brand new quarterback, pretty much. The Broncos looked really good last week, man. I was really shocked they were able to run the ball really well. The Rams, as we know, are having a pretty bad season, due to injuries, and just even before the injuries, they weren't playing like, they had just won a Super Bowl. I know they lost some pieces, but it just didn't look like the same team whatsoever. I think the Broncos win this game. Now, I think it's going to be a very low-scoring game because of, the two offenses. But I got the Broncos win this game 17-14. That's how I'm calling it. Next, we got Bucks at Cardinals. So for the Bucks injury report, we got Jamel Dean, the safety, who's questionable. Julio, who's questionable. Carl Nassib, the linebacker, is questionable. Vita Vea, defensive tackle, is questionable. And Tristan Wirfs, the offensive tackle, is questionable. As far as the Cardinals, Zach Allen is out with a hand, defensive end. He's been playing some really good ball. Antonio Hamilton, the corner, he's questionable. And Marco Wilson's questionable. As we all know, Kyler Murray is out for the remainder of the year, so it will be Colt McCoy. Now, the Bucks are still in charge of the NFC South, even though that division is looking pretty bad. I think the Bucks can do just enough to keep, the lead in this division alive, and I think they win this game. I think they kind of get some things together and put together some good drives. I got the Bucks win this game 21-14. I like them in this game. I think Brady and company get it together. And lastly, we got Chargers at Colts. For the Chargers, Derwin James, the safety, is questionable, and that's about it. For the Colts, Kenny Moore, the slot corner, who they desperately been wanting to come back, he's questionable. And as we all know, Jonathan Taylor is now on IR with an ankle injury. I think they're just sitting him out for the year. I think maybe not this week, but next week he could come back. But I think they figure it's best to let him rest. And the Chargers are still trying to secure their playoff spot, so they're not resting anybody. So I really, really like the Chargers in this game, and I don't think it'll be relatively close. I know the Colts lost a heartbreaker to the Vikings last week, but this ain't going to be heartbreaking. I got the Chargers win this game 27-10 in some real blowout fashion. That's how I'm calling it, y'all. Those are all the games for the week. Appreciate y'all for tuning in. Go ahead and like, sub, man. We're going to be here. Even during playoffs, we're gonna make some things happen. Appreciate all the support. As always, I'm your host, Alex. This is ENA We Got Time, and I'm out. Peace.
Here, make it off at your Pittsburgh.